Welcome to For the Record. I'm Will Keneally in for Naomi Coles. We turn first to the state capitol, where a group of lawmakers have introduced a series of abortion-related bills. Among them is a law that would clarify what kind of procedures doctors could perform to save the life of the mother that wouldn't put doctors in jeopardy of the state's abortion ban. We're joined now by one of the bill's authors, Senator Romaine Quinn, who joins us from Cameron. Thanks so much for joining us.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So you've billed these proposals as an embrace them both package. Could you describe what that means?
Yeah, that's always been the pro-life position, that we care about both the baby and the mother. So there's been a lot of criticism over the years, which I think are unfair, that Republicans are only quote unquote pro-birth. We want to support families. We want to support women. We want to support those babies and young children, both in the womb and after they're born. And so we just want to make it clear that we want to pass bills that embrace them both mother and child.
So the top line there, you list a series of procedures that would be allowable under this bill. How did you arrive to those?
So during the course of the campaign, obviously we were now a post Roe v. Wade world. There was a lot of rhetoric, a lot of misinformation, especially at the national level, that I think really scared people into what kind of access do or do I not have when it comes to possible medical emergencies when I'm carrying my child. And so we just want to make it crystal clear that the pro-life community has never considered the removal of a miscarriage or the removal of an ectopic pregnancy or those kinds of situations that threaten the life of the mother as an abortion. Because if you're not intentionally ending a human life, if you're not intentionally aborting that child, trying to end their life, that's not an abortion. And it's never been considered one from the pro-life community. So let's take it off the table. Let's make it crystal clear. Let's make sure there's no ambiguity and that physicians can treat women when they have medical complications in those situations. So that's why we wanted to clarify and redefine this to make it clear for everyone, all parties.
So I know we're still early in the process yet, but have you heard from any doctors, anybody from the medical community on these bills?
Not specifically, like you mentioned, we just dropped them this last week, but we did hear enough during the campaign and in and outside the Capitol that there's the current law, because of whatever reason, there's enough ambiguity where physicians are not comfortable performing certain procedures. So that's where this package of bills comes from. We just want to make it clear for them that they can provide the medical care they need, but with the caveat that they should do all they can to protect the life of both mother and baby at the same time.
So in the bill, there's language that kind of makes a distinction between what the bill describes as intentionally killing an unborn child versus any life-saving action that would just have that outcome. How will abortion providers' intention be kind of demonstrated under this bill?
And that's something we'll have to take case by case, but we use language in consultation with our attorneys and looked at other states as well, again, trying to make it as clear as possible that, for instance, if you have a mother that is diagnosed with some form of cancer and she needs to begin whatever form of treatment she needs that could compromise the life of her child, she should be allowed to get that medical care. She's not intentionally trying to compromise the life of her child, but she needs that to survive. And so the doctor should try to treat her, but being conscientious of the fact that there's still another patient in the womb and that we should do our best to care for both. And that's why, again, we call it embrace them both legislation. I just wanted to make it clear that we are providing adoption support. We want to provide tax credit for children in the womb to recognize that as soon as a family becomes pregnant, costs start today, not once the child's born. So we want to recognize and count them as a dependent for tax purposes while they're in the womb. And then we also want to support pregnancy resource centers because they give a lot of help for single families, young families, unexpected families who find themselves in a pregnancy that they may or may not want at the moment. But those resource centers are there to support them in their situation. So it's all encompassing. We don't just want to redefine what is or is not an abortion. We want to actually support families as they're carrying these children to term.
So I want to turn to the politics now. We've seen other abortion measures fail. Democrats are largely advocating for a full repeal of the state's abortion ban. And any updates to the state's abortion law could also water down some arguments that they're making in a current lawsuit challenging the state's ban. Are you optimistic that this can pass?
Well, I've always been an optimist. I would argue, even for those that are pro-choice, why would you not want to create more clarity? Why would you not want to give physicians more clarity? We can have the debates of when does life start? Is it conception? Is it 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 20 weeks? We can have those debates. But today, let's take off the table for women that fear if they miscarry, they can't go in and have the child removed, or that can't receive treatment because they're currently pregnant. Let's take those situations off the table and then have that debate on when does life begin another day.
Senator Romaine Quinn, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.